Today we're focusing on the last part of Ephesians chapter 2 verse 9 where it says, lest anyone should boast. But first, let's set the verse in its context. Let's look at the whole thing. This is Ephesians 2 verses 8 and 9 from the ESV. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. The ESV is expansive in its treatment of these two verses, and it really tries to capture the different parts of speech. We're going to go quickly through until we get to that last part, which is our focus today. So let's begin in Koine. Te garkariti este sesmos menoi dia pisteos. So te garkariti, for by grace or in grace, este, you are, sesmos menoi, a participle that is a perfect passive participle, having been saved, dia through pisteos, faith. So let's start in the middle with our participle. Este sesmos menoi is a perfect periphrastic participle. Say that 3 times fast. And the use of periphrastics, as we've talked about in the past, when you combine a participle, a verbal participle, with a form of to be, of eimi, in this case the second person plural, este, the emphasis is not so much on the action of the participle, but on the being, on the state of being. So you are saved, or you having been saved. We're not as concerned about the action as the status of you. So the important part of that periphrastic is you having been saved, or you are saved. Then we go back to te kariti, by grace, by means of grace. And then the instrumentality or the means is diapisteos, through faith. So we're supposed to come away understanding that our saved status is on the basis of grace by means of faith. So hold on to that. Let's carry on. Kaituto uk ex humon. So kaituto and this, uk is not, ex humon, of you plural. So what is this? What is the this in question? Is the referent the participle being saved? Is the referent the grace as the basis of it? Is the referent the faith that is the means of accessing the grace? It's tricky because the participle is masculine and grace and faith are both feminine, but tuto is neuter. So how are we supposed to decide, right? The tuto should agree in gender, case, and number with its referent, but it doesn't agree with any of them. So how are we to decide? If you go to 3 John verse 5, you'll see a referent, you'll see a neuter gendered referring to a different gendered noun. And so it does happen from time to time, but here it seems more likely that this in the neuter is a stand-in for the entirety of that paradigm. What paradigm? That we're saved on the basis of grace by means of faith. So this, we're told, is, we have to supply the is here, is not from or of you plural. So this isn't about you. You being saved by means of grace through faith is not about you. It's not based on you. It's based on grace. Then we get the last part, theoutodoron. It is, we again have to supply that stative, it is the gift of God. Todoron, the gift, and then God in the genitive of God. So So what do we know? This thing is not from you, plural. We can apply that to us. It's not about our characteristics, our integrity, our character, our personality traits. It's not about us. It is a gift that's related to the concept of charity, of charis, grace, right? It's something that's given to us. That's the basis of it. It's something given to us, not something that's about our merits. And we access that by through faith, by holding on to that offer. So it is the gift of God by means of faith, not by means of you, not by means of merit, but by charis, by grace. Then that last part, uk ex ergon. So just like we had uk ex humon, not of or from you, now we're told not of or from works, deeds. So not only is this not about your personhood, your being, your characteristics, neither is it about your performance. It's not about your law keeping. It's not about the goodness that you've shown in the world. It's not the stuff that you did or the thing that you are. It's not about either of those two things. It's strictly a gift from God by means or on the basis of grace, by means of faith, accessed by means of faith. So no matter what kind of work you've done, no matter the volume of it or the quality of it, it can't qualify for this. This is a gift that's given freely by God and is accessed by means of faith, not by means of deeds, not by means of the quality of your character. Then we get to the great part, the last part. Hina metis kaukesetai. So kaukesetai is an infinitive, and it means to boast. And here we have a hina clause, and a hina clause usually shows purpose, and it answers the implicit question why. So we've been told the way salvation works, you've been saved on the basis of grace, by means of faith. This is not from or of you. It's a gift from God. This is not from or of works. Now we're told this hina clause. In order that, then we get may, not, tis, without an accent, anyone, and then we have kaukesetai, should or might or may boast. So this answers the implicit question, why? Why is it by grace through faith? Why is it not of you, plural? Why is it not of works? In order that, we're told, in order that no one should begin to boast. If any part of the plan was merit-based versus grace-based, if any part of it was works-based versus faith, if any part of it was about your character and characteristics or your output or quality of deeds, then it would be earned versus given. But we're told explicitly it's given. It is the gift of God. And it is all about charis, unmerited favor, something given to you regardless of merit. And what we know of human nature is, if any part of it was merit-based, if it was ex humon, if it was of or from you, your being, or ex ergon, from your works or your deeds, we would immediately begin comparing. So, excuse me. I grew up in a very rural setting. Everybody grew up hunting, fishing, all that sort of thing. And I knew two cousins who, on a hunting trip one morning, one looked at the other and said, "Hey, Tom, look, our holsters are exactly the same." And Tom looked back at it and said, "Yeah, but I like mine better." And that story has stuck with me for 45 years because it really speaks to human nature. We have the exact same thing. We come to the table with the exact same thing, but one of us thinks that they're still better or worse than the other. So look at what is being told to us in that last part. In order that no one should boast. Answering the implicit question, why? Why did God set up salvation this way? In order that no one should boast or should start to boast. Because if it were all merit-based, everybody's without hope. Forget about it. We're all doomed if it's 100% merit-based. What if it was part merit-based and part grace-based? How long would it take for someone to examine themselves compared to someone else and say, hey, I noticed that you required 70% grace and 30% merit, whereas I, on the other hand, I was 70% merit and I only needed 30% grace. Before you know it, we would be creating a hierarchy of who needed the least help, right? That's human nature. I can't help but notice that we both came here on the basis of grace through faith, not of ourselves and not of works. It's harder then to say, yeah, but I like mine better, right? Because we both came naked, empty-handed, completely devoid of anything to bring to the table apart from a willingness to trust in the God who gives a gift that is grace, that saves, that has nothing to do with our inherent being, nature, character, just our willingness to trust Him. Nothing to do with our works, the volume thereof, or the quality thereof, or the holiness thereof, just our willingness to accept that gift. Then, when we come to the table, we've got nothing to compare to one another. I don't know who said it, but someone famously said that comparison is the thief of joy, right? Like when we're comparing one to another, we're robbing ourselves of joy. So, what is the key here? But in order that no one should boast or begin to boast, the plan was exclusively grace-based by means of faith, not by means of you, not by means of works. Every beneficiary receives it 100% as a gift with no basis for boasting in any sense. So how do we know this? Why do we know this? Because of that hina clause of purpose. In order that, answering the question why. Why is it this way? In order that no one should boast. The purpose for this plan, the reason for doing it this way, is so that there's no basis for any boasting from anyone, so that no one may start boasting. How cool is that? Hina clauses of purpose, answering the question why, in order that no one should boast. Thanks for watching. I hope that was good for you. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification dinger so you know when there's new content. And until next time, Charis Kai Rene Humin, grace and peace to you.